What is up, guys? Today we'll be discussing the iPhone 10 versus the iPhone 8 in 2021. So if you're on a budget and you want to pick up an iPhone, these are two excellent phones to pick up. So the iPhone 8 is around 180 bucks right now. I have those links down below. The iPhone 10 around 300 and under. So very good phones. Are usually phones I recommend to people who want an iPhone. Now you'll see a big difference here with the body. I think that's one of the biggest differences is overall the design. Now they pretty much have the same button layout as we can see here, and they both have stereo speakers, and they're both IP rated as well, so they can survive getting wet and stuff like that, no problem. So I guess one of the first things we can talk about is the Touch ID experience versus the Face ID. So that is one thing to consider with both of these phones. So it really comes down to personal preference. If you're out a lot, pulling down the mask can be annoying. So the Touch ID is really convenient to be able to just get in your phone without having to do that. And then, you know, with Face ID, I just think it's overall just a smoother experience to just be able to look at the phone and get in without having to hit a button or anything like that. So it really comes down to personal preference. They're both very fast and they work great. So alright, so you actually have a big difference when it comes to display quality. So on the iPhone 8, we do have a Retina IPS display at 4.7 inches, at 720p plus, and 326 for the PPI. And on the iPhone 10, you have a much better Super Retina OLED display at 5.8 inches, 1125 by 2436, 458 for the PPI. So the iPhone 10 is the overall better display here, but some people do want a more compact phone experience. So if you want something that is a bit more smaller, then the iPhone 8 is great for that. It's very compact, very easy to use with one hand. The iPhone 10 also has a cutout with the notch, which some people, you may or may not like, but it does have a more full screen effect. But the iPhone 8 does not have any type of notch. So that's one thing that I noticed. As far as color accuracy, the iPhone 10 is going to be better than this OLED display. So you're going to get deeper blacks. So colors are just going to look overall better on here. But again, the benefits with the iPhone 8's display is that it's smaller and you don't have a notch or anything like that. So that is, something to consider as well. Both of these phones are running iOS 14, and you also have the Apple A11 chip in both of these phones as well. I believe 2 gigs of RAM, 3 gigs of RAM. So basically, performance is pretty much the same on both of these phones, honestly. So if we just do a quick speed test here, you can see they're gonna open applications pretty much the same. If we go to, and I think the iPhone, well actually the iPhone 8 kind of got it there. iPhone 10 there. So as you can see, it's not a huge difference when it comes to speed and stuff like that. You see they're pretty much on par, but I do notice when using both phones, the iPhone 10 will sort of jump out ahead of the iPhone 8 a little bit, but overall you're not going to notice a big difference when it comes to speed and stuff like that. The iPhone 10 might be slightly faster, but it's not anything that is going to be, supernaturally fast or anything like that. I believe your gaming experience on both of these phones is going to be essentially the same as well. They both play are really great. Here are your graphic settings for PUBG. You can go on Extreme, Ultra, and you can only go up to HDR here. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same graphic settings as we can see, which is great. Both of these phones play games great. Graphics and everything, yeah, pretty much look the same. Only difference you'll notice is pretty much screen quality. You'll notice a difference with the color and overall quality. But as far as gaming experience, both of these phones actually play games very well. So I was really happy with that. So you've got about the same amount of storage on both of these phones, 64 gigs, which can run out fast, but you can use the cloud storage as well, the iCloud, which I highly recommend on these phones, because once you start downloading a lot of apps and games, you can easily run out of storage on here. So both of these phones have NFC or Apple Pay, which is really nice. So if you're dependent on that, that is there. They both do not have a headphone jack, of course. And let's go ahead and check out the stereo speaker quality on both of these phones. Start off with the iPhone 8 here. Yeah, so it's like night and day when it comes to speaker quality. The iPhone 10 speakers are going to be much louder, so if you're somebody that likes really loud speakers, then this would be the one for you. It's not to say for the size of the iPhone 8, not to say that it's bad sounding at all, because it sounds pretty good and has good bass quality, but it's just not as loud. It's just much louder on the iPhone 10. Which is fine. It's to be expected with a smaller phone. Alright, let's talk about image quality. So basically with the iPhone 8 you have a single lens on here. It's a 12 megapixel lens, 4K video, 7 megapixel selfie, 1080p. And when you're taking photos, these two phones take the same kind of photos pretty much. That's what I honestly noticed. So I don't think there's a huge difference in image quality. You have a 12 megapixel standard camera, then a 12 megapixel telephoto on the iPhone 10, which is really nice. 4K video, 7 megapixel selfie that shoots in 1080p as well. They both take really great photos for you know, the price that you're getting these phones at, but I don't really notice the difference. And I'll go ahead and show you some photos from the iPhone 10. It takes great photos, as you can see, pretty good color, very good detail, but you get that telephoto lens, so you get good depth of field on this phone as well. Which is nice. So it just comes down to, do you want that telephoto lens, honestly? Because to me, if you're a casual shooter, these are taking pretty much the same kind of photos, which they take great photos, good color, good detail. I was really happy with the image quality at this price point. For FaceTime and taking videos, these phones are perfectly fine. Alright, so let's talk about battery life. So this is a big difference here. On the iPhone 8 you have a 1821 milliamp battery. You also have wireless charging, 15 watt charging. And then you have on the iPhone 10 a bigger 2716 milliamp battery, 15 watt fast charging and wireless charging. Basically with these two phones, the battery life isn't super impressive on either phones. If you're coming from like Android phones and stuff like that, you know, these phones don't really last all day. Like, you'll get around 6 hours of screen on time, maybe 5 hours, 30 minutes, depending on how you use it. On the 10, and for the 8 you're probably looking at 4 hours and 30 minutes to 5 hours, so you're getting like an extra hour screen on time basically with the iPhone 10. So it does have better battery life. So that is something to take into consideration as well. I'm stuttering all over the place. But yeah, so, you know, overall battery life is going to be better on the 10 here. So that pretty much wraps this comparison up. Be sure to let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.